Hey, this randomly came to me while I was showering, as many great thoughts do. But I had this it was like a cyst, I guess like a mini tumor maybe. I'm just gonna call it a cyst. I had this cyst that would like sit underneath my armpit, and for a while it like genuinely bothered me, and it was extremely painful, and I did not know how to get rid of it. So I kind of just let it sit for months without ever really taking any action towards it. And my parents told me that, hey, you know, you should go see a doctor. Like, well, I mean, I did see a doctor beforehand, but it wasn't necessarily a specialist when it came to like armpits. And so they ended up sending me to a specialist, and it was like this African guy, like this old African guy. And when I first showed up like to the office and they like scheduled me to a room, at first it was this white guy who came up to me. I'm pretty sure he was gay if my memory serves me correctly, which there's nothing wrong with. If you do you, you know what I'm saying? But I was kind of unsure if he was trying to hit on me. That was where things got a little iffy. I was like, yeah, you're a cool dude. Like, we can make jokes. We were making jokes, just talking, like we were just friends. But he'd compliment me like, "Oh, your hair looks nice," or I'm not gonna go any further and try to come up with something extra. But he'd compliment me, and I'd just be like, "Yeah, thanks." I was reading this in Reddit the other day. I think I think there are a large percentage of people. Now, the subreddit I was reading, it was about like men to an extent, but I think there's a large pool of people who just don't know when they're being complimented. They don't know when it's happening, so they don't know how to like take the compliment. And so, or well, compliment and or being hit on. We can't really see the signs. So we just see everything as sort of a, if you're hitting on us, it's really just a compliment, and if you're complimenting us, it's really like an underhanded insult, a backhanded insult. So, we just shrug it off and keep going. But yeah, I couldn't tell if I was being hit on. I mean, that has nothing to do with what I'm getting towards. I just thought that was a little fun fact I drop in there. Some so a little sweet in your sour. You know what I'm saying? Patch Kids, sweet, sour, gone. So yeah, the I'm like sitting, on that table with the paper, the tissue paper on it, which I never understood why they had tissue paper. Like, I've only ever seen tissue paper in art class back in elementary. I've never seen it anywhere else besides there and maybe like the doctors, maybe the dentist, but for sure the doctors. And what is that tissue paper even like for? I would assume it's like catching like bodily fluids, but it's not gonna hold piss, right? Like, you can piss right through that paper. It's very delicate. Blood, maybe. Piss, no. Spit, I feel like that's iffy, depending on how like determined you are to catch it. Throw up, if it can't hold piss, it's not holding throw up, right? Semen, it I feel like it depends on the density of your sperm. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So the African doctor. I'm sitting on that little table in the room alone. The walls for some godforsaken reason are always thin in the doctor's office, so you can always hear what's happening in a room, like to the sides of you or behind you or in front of you. And this was before the pandemic had hit, and the doctor was out like in a lobby area talking, "Hey, I'm trying to get tickets to this cruise, this trip. I'm gonna take my family on this trip. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go out there and we're gonna hop on the island. We just gonna chill on the islands. Let's do it. Let's get it. Yeah," like he was hype, right? And in between his hypeness, I could hear him stopping at like other patients' rooms to check up on them, and then leaving real quick to check up on his availability for the ticket. Now, the way, from my understanding of how this all worked, was in order to get the ticket, you were on a timer, right? And you had to like click in when the availability came open. If you didn't click in, excuse me, then you weren't gonna get it. And it's difficult for him to click in while he's also checking on patients, because he'll spend maybe like 2 to 8 minutes. He probably cut that 8 minutes down to like 5, right? Because he was trying to get the tickets done, talking to a patient. And I remembered I could hear all of the. Now he was like the only black person in that entire room. Everybody else, for the most part, were just white women, kind of gossiping about how they're excited for him to get this and like he really needs it, and he's been going through stuff, so like they're happy for him while he is also talking to other patients. And so I can hear it all going down. Basically, I done heard this man's life story while sitting in this little room, right? And so, patient one goes by, you can like hear his footsteps running across the floor. He makes it over to the desk. Okay. Goes back. Patient two goes by, footsteps come back. Okay. Patient three. Just back and forth, back and forth. Back again. Okay. Oh. It seems like I've got what? Well, I think he said he had like 5 more minutes, right? So I'm patient four. Spends 5 minutes on me, and he should get that ticket, right? And while he's doing that, just in case, he's got the female nurses. Well, all the nurses, right? It's not just the female ones. He's got all the nurses checking in and making sure that he's not missing the opportunity on one of the laptops or computers in there at the time. And he gets to me, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm explaining, breaking it all down for him. He's checking me out, and he's like, "Okay. So get this," and he tells me I need to be put on some prescription, and I have to take it a certain amount of times a day. You know how prescriptions work. So I take this medicine, and probably like before a month is up, the cyst is gone. Right, and he was right. It did clear my cyst. But as soon as he left my room, he misses the ticket offer. Now, it was like an island trip down to like Fiji or Hawaii or something. There's something out there in the Caribbean, maybe. I failed social studies, U.S. history, anything with a map, I failed, so don't take my word for where the island was. I just remembered it being an island. And, he misses it, and everybody's bummed out, and he's down, and he's sad, and all the nurses are sad, and I'm getting ready to go, and I feel bad now because I done built up all this hype with the nurses after like hearing them about what's about to go down. That like I'm thinking he's gonna win this, and then I feel even worse because like it clicks with me. Maybe he missed that ticket opportunity because of me. You know what I'm saying? I was the last patient he had. And he ends up leaving too because I was the last patient that he had. So, I mean, he was nice enough to even like let me in because he really could have just rescheduled. But he was nice enough to let me in. And then he misses that ticket opportunity. And you could just feel the depression. The entire energy of the room shifted. It was a completely different vibe going on, right? It was insane, completely awkward. It's something that like, I feel like you probably see in like a sitcom. You have to just kind of like sit there and swallow it, like take it, like something out The Office. Whenever Michael would do something crazy, you'd have to like cringe and pull back. It's just one of those moments, right? And I was just like, man, I really wish that man would have got that trip because now I feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? Now I gotta go and make something out of myself so I can get this money, meet this doctor, and send his family out. You know what I'm saying? Now I gotta get big, but now it doesn't even really matter. Because, in less than half a year, the pandemic hit, and there was no traveling. So he's probably never going to go out traveling, for all I know. But, I just wanted to share that random story time. I thought it'd be pretty funny or fun to share. I'm just going to drop little bits and pieces of what's on my mind and what's going on in my life or what has gone on in my life here. Consider it like a verbal diary. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or if you just want to talk, leave them in the comments. I'll probably see them. If I don't, then I don't know. Something happened to me. Anyway, nice talking to you. I hope you're having a great day. I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna tell you I love you because that's what YouTubers do. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Subscribe.